you are. Welcome to my to ESL. This is our fourth video, and as you know, Chris and myself are team teaching, but we're also alternating weeks. So this again is our fourth one, and we'd like you to contact us at this Gmail address so we can find out what's working well, what's not working well. We may want to send you some handouts. You may want to know, you may want some of the information that we've been using because we have some diagrams and pictures and some words, and you may want us to send those to you. We'll be glad to do that. But we need to have your email address. Okay, so what's on the agenda for today? Well, the first thing we're going to talk about is we'll do a little review from last week. We will then look at two more animal idioms, and then we'll do some more building. We'll talk about verb phrases and helping verbs, and we will also have a word from the word, and that will conclude with that. All right, but let's have a quick quiz first. Just see what you remember from last week. All right, true or false? An idiom is a literal expression. True or false? What do you think? False. Got it. You got it. I knew you'd get it. True or false? Sheepish can mean bashful. True or false? True. You get it. Last one. True or false? Black sheep have bad reputations. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I knew you guys would get that. So it's time to go back one farm. We're going to be looking at these different animals. And again, we're just using animals as a way of thinking about personality types. But I can't get this on, so what the heck. We'll just use this. And I'll put my working shirt on. Now, it's really important that you not only remember these or think about them, but practice putting them in sentences. If you can put them in sentences, that's the best way of remembering a vocabulary word. In fact, many years ago, I had a middle school class, and the way we learn vocabulary, as I said, you have to write the sentence with the word, you had to write a sentence that defined the word, so the sentence not only was a correct sentence, complete thought, but defined the word. So they knew what it meant. So you would say sheepish, you would say something in the sentence about sheepishness. You say that John's a very sheepish person when he's around strangers. Okay, so the idioms we're talking about describe people. Today, we're going to talk about chickens. Now, a hen is a female chicken. Didn't know that. And you see she's got a little egg there. And the rooster is a male chicken. And I think the main way you can tell the difference is, I think that's a gullet, that's called. That's sort of the red piece that's hanging down from there. All right, chickens. So how we use it? Oh, I just want to tell you, this is my favorite kind of chicken. All right. So to be called a chicken is really kind of an insult. People will sometimes use it to dare you, or they might use it to criticize you or question your courage. Here's an example of a sentence. Are you just a chicken? You're a coward? You're a scaredy cat? You don't have the guts to stand up for yourself. Well, you can see in that sentence I have some synonyms for it. So to be called a chicken is pretty much an insult. Sometimes it's just a fun way of talking. Now, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to show you a little clip from Back to the Future, and it uses this term. This movie, Back to the Future, has this guy in it called McFly, and he kind of goes to the future and he does different things. But there's always this bully, and this bully named Biff is this fella. And that's a good, pretty much a good picture of him. Now let's see if we can get old Biff. Can you hear that? There it is. That's about as loud as we'll get. Let's try it again. So that's one of the ways it's sometimes being done. So he's calling him a chicken, and this guy McFly is always going to take him up on it, even though he's a lot smaller than this other guy. Now, there's another way of thinking about it, in that we can be looking at it in another sense. Let's kind of get forward here. Here we go. Another way is to play chicken. Now, this can be done either in a very harmless way, or it could be a dangerous activity. Like here's one. They call me chicken because I don't go bungee jumping. Well, that may not be dangerous, but sometimes playing chicken can be foolish. That's what this little guy is. Risky. This is a young lady climbing, or it could be a dangerous dare. So, let's see if we can get this guy to do his thing for us. Maybe. Maybe. Yes? No? Well, tell you what, couldn't get it. That's okay. Tell you what he does do, though. He dives off this bridge. He stands up here, and he dives off this bridge down to his, all the way down to this river, and he hits the water and springs back up. So I'm not so sure that if someone told me I was a chicken, if I didn't do that, I probably wouldn't do it either. See if we can get this video going better next time. Okay, so what's our second one? We're going to do a bull. Now, sometimes there are bulls and then there are bulls, but the one we're talking about is not going to be this guy. He's a real friendly one. He always has a flower in his mouth. We're talking more about the ones who fit more of these categories. Oops, let's go back. Sorry. So sometimes people will say, well, you're so bull-headed, meaning you're just stubborn. Sometimes you'll see the word, I don't want to hear any more of your bull, and that just means unwanted words. There's usually a suffix to this, we don't have to mention, but you'll hear it a lot, and it just means bull. Doesn't mean anything. Not a real good word to use, but you'll hear it. So it's unwanted. He is such a bully, meaning a mean person. And the other one is, this is an interesting one, particularly if you're involved in stock market or anything like that. They are bullish about the future of the product. So they're very optimistic. That's another way. But what about the word bully? We said it means to be cruel, to be threatening, to be aggressive, and I think we've probably all had bullies in our life. Someone who acts in a bullying fashion. Here's an example one. Jeb bullied his younger brother who was frightened of him. There's Jeb. But I had a question. Is bully, I got it wrong. It means derived. You caught it. Thank you. That means, did it come from the word bull? What do you think? Yes? No? Hands? Nope. Well, there's the bully, but it doesn't really come from that. But their origins are very interesting. Because originally, the history of the word bully in Old English had to do with love. Now, how it went from love to someone being rough, I'm not sure, but the word history is not correlated, but you'll hear it used in our discussion. Okay, now we're going to build. You ready to build? We were doing this last week, and I talked about blueprints, and we talk about our grammar. And this is what they really are. They're written on a kind of a blue paper. Sometimes it's white. And they have the white drawing on it. We talked about building a foundation, and then you put your first floor on. This has a second floor, you have your roof and a chimney. So you're building it step by step. And what we were saying is that grammar, and the way that I'd like to think about it, can be done step by understanding how the sentences go together, how they are pieced together. So today we're going to talk about verb phrases and helping verbs. Now, verbs can be made up of more than one word. It can be, and the way that it does that, it works together with just one job, and that job is to help the verb. So you can have words added to the verb. So when one or more, it is acting as the verb, all the words together is a phrase. Let me say that again, I didn't say that very clearly. When more than one word is acting as the verb, all the verbs together are called a verb phrase. Now again, I know a lot of this is pretty elementary for most of you, but we're building. Okay, so let's look at some more information. We're talking about them working together as one. You're always going to have a main verb because the main verb is going to carry the meaning. That's the main thing. And the thing about the helping verbs, they can't stand by themselves. They don't make any sense. So let's look at a couple examples. Might have jumped. Now, if we just said jumped, stands by itself, but might have tells us about jumped. It helped jump. We know a little bit more about it now. Had painted, a little bit more about painting. Would study. Don't worry about tense right now. Just the very fact that these words are all helping to explain that. Could learn. Will run. These are all examples. Now, there's only 24, and this summer I tried to sing it, and I'm not going to do it again because I didn't do it very well then, and I know I can't do it well now. You don't have to memorize these. Just have a sense of them. So I'm just going to read through them slowly. Just say them with me. Be, am, is, are, was. Were, been, being, have, has, had. Now I bet you can almost see words coming together with them in there. Could, should, would, may, might, must, shall, can, will, do, did. And I have no idea what's going down the bottom there. I guess does and having were two others. Okay, so think about those because we're going to come back. All right, how do we diagram them? This is our building part. Remember, we put all the words in the verb part is going to be here. We always put the subject here, and we always put the verb or verbals there. So the whole phrase is going to come here. So here's an example. Students will learn. Where's the phrase? Will learn. Or a little bit more about that. Okay, so students, put that under the subject. Will learn is our phrase. Now this all seems real simple, but when you start writing more complicated sentences, these will all come off in different directions. But again, the key is to see how they all come together, how they fit together. You don't always even have to have it in your mind how these structured, but just knowing that they have a function in the sentence. And we'll be pulling all that together the more we work on these. So let's do some examples. Okay, Bella might have smiled. So where would we put Bella? Always put her in the first place, as all women should be. Might have smiled will be our whole phrase. People were singing. People will be our subject, and were singing would be our phrase. Let's do two more. Kids might laugh. I'm sure you got it by now. Kids will be our subject. Might laugh will be our phrase, our verbal phrase. Garbage can smell. Absolutely. And garbage will be our subject. And can smell would be the phrase. And I forgot to put my hat on, but if I had really done this right, I would have put my hat on. But I'm not. But that's supposed to indicate that I'm working. So let's see if we get back to this. So we're just about through here. So be thinking about some of these things. Idioms, think about them in terms of putting them in sentences. Just have an idea of how to structure it, because we'll be doing some exercises. And one of the reasons we like to have a Zoom is we like to have you do some of these things. Converse using the idioms. Make up sentences with them while you're talking with other people. So, let's see. All right, are you ready for this? Oops, maybe not. We're gonna have a little memory session. How many of those rascals can you remember? Let's see, let me get back in. Maybe. Oh. One more time. So, my wife always says, it's operator error. She's right. There we go. Okay. So how many verbs can you remember? So I want you to take out a sheet of paper and pencil, and I'd like you to look again at that list of 24. Remember, look at these again. Think about them. And what I'd like you to do is I'm going to give you 30 seconds to see how many you can remember. If you can remember 5, that's great. Now, if my buzzer's working, we'll have a countdown. So let's see if it's working. Well, we've already been here. Ready? Maybe, maybe not. Nope. Well, anyway. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did any of you remember any? Can you think of it right now? Can you think of 1, 2, 3? Just kind of keep them in mind. All right, so we're just about done. And it's really important that we know what we're doing for you. We really miss being with you. We really do. It's much better if you were there, we could talk with you, and we could laugh. But you might have comments, you might have questions. Please make sure that you use the Gmail address here. Okay? That's really important that we are in touch with you. And we talked about the Zooming. We'll get in touch with you about that and see if that's a possibility. All right, final word from the Word. This is love, not that we first loved God, but that He loved us and He gave everything. What did He give up? He gave up His Son to pay for our sins, to bring us to Him. That's my paraphrase, but it's what John 4:10 says, and that He loved us first, and that's the main thing. So come on back next week, same time, same place. We're going to be open. The door's always there. It was great being with you. Shalom, for those who remember from last week.
Okay.